Good evening, everybody. JohnnyJans here, coming to you from outside Universal Studios. And guess what? We did it, everybody. I did it, but you were along with me. What did I do? Well, I welcome you to day number 50 of this thing that I'm doing. Oh my gosh, it has been 50 days now that I've been coming to Universal Orlando and having lots of fun along the way. Now it's time to continue doing that with going inside Universal, but today is a little bit of a twist. Because it's day 50, I'm gonna do something special, and I'm not gonna do something that I really like a lot. I'm gonna do something that I kind of not like so much. I'm gonna go take you for a ride on Fast and the Furious Supercharged, Universal's most interesting attraction, I feel. So, without further ado, let's get to it and go meandering around. JohnnyJans is once again checking his height out here at the gate, and looks like he's tall enough to go not so fast, it'll make you furious. And welcome everybody to the real Mardi Gras. Today is actually Fat Tuesday, which is Mardi Gras. So you bet there's gonna be a parade tonight. Probably gonna be packed. Universal open till 9 o'clock tonight. So I'm sure, looking up ahead, I can tell right away, it is quite busy. And there's some Mardi Gras performers. But it's not about the Mardi Gras fun that's happening in the streets. Right now, the only thing that's happening in the streets is Fast and Furious Supercharged. The only ride that I've ever seen based on an awesome movie franchise that is both fast and furious, but the ride is neither fast, but it actually can make you furious. And I guess you could say it's supercharged because it's probably got enough NOS in there, it can blow itself up, period. Folks, this is the big one, Fast and the Furious Supercharged. This ride is hilarious to me because when I first found out that Fast and the Furious was even coming to Universal Orlando, I was like, wow, they're gonna have this test track type ride, they're gonna have this Fast and Furious roller coaster based on the movies I just love so much. It's gonna be really crazy, really intense, and it turned out to be everything but that. What we actually got, what was once here, we're standing, well, this used to be the Beetlejuice Theater, where Beetlejuice performed live with the other monsters in a rock and roll type review show. But then connected to that was Earthquake, the big one. So what they did for Fast and the Furious, they tore down Beetlejuice, they changed Earthquake, but kept the overall ride of Earthquake, which was a tram ride that you go witness an earthquake. And again, they kept that tram ride, but turned it into Fast and the Furious, because when I think of Fast and Furious, I definitely think about a bus. And that's basically what you go on here. You go on a party bus on an adventure with the Fast and Furious crew, but it's just really weird. And that's because when you go inside on the bus, you go through a 3D tunnel that's not really even 3D. Here at Universal Orlando, it's not a 3D attraction. Now, the original ride for this is in Universal Hollywood, and it is a 3D attraction. So because you took the 3D out of the attraction and cloned and brought the same ride here without 3D, it looks terribly out of focus. The action is all over that you don't even know where you're on. It's all screen-based, and it doesn't even feel like you're going fast because you're on a bus, and then it just abruptly ends, ride or die, which is just astounding to me how they put this ride together. And that's why I've been avoiding it for 50 days, but it's been 50 days now and I don't feel like I can avoid it anymore. I feel like I need to go get fast and try not to get furious is more like it. Right now the wait time is 65 minutes and there is no chance I'm gonna wait 65 minutes for this ride. I am 100% gonna express myself, but hopefully even the express line, I wanna show you the queue. Because that is surprisingly the best part of this attraction is the queue line. It has so many cars and different nods to the Fast and Furious movies. It makes it really cool in the queue line, but then you get to the ride, which is severely disappointing. And check it out, we got here, we got Dominic Toretto's Dodge Charger. So much torque that it twisted off the chassis off the line. It scared the death out of him to drive right there. All right, we are entering the standby entrance right now. I grew up on Fast and the Furious. I watched the first movie more times than probably anybody. I used to go to the drive-in every night with my car just to watch Fast and the Furious when it came out. So this is just so disappointing to finally see an attraction based on the movie I love. And there we go, we got Dominic Toretto's and the family, the backyard. They got the grill over there. They got the table where they seem to meet at after every movie, even after they get launched in space in Fast and the Furious 9. But this is where the family comes, gets together and says grace right there, especially Jesse, who was the first one to pick the role. He had to say grace.
And remember, you can have any beer you want as long as it's a Corona.
And here we go, the most popular part of the queue line is the actual cars that they got here from the Fast and the Furious movie. That was Brian's WRX. So here we go, we got the Supra from the first movie, a little different because it was more orange in the first movie and it had the wing. One of the only street racing looking cars in the queue line. What's up with these cars? They got no engines in them. What do they expect to run on? Hopes and dreams? There it is, I just got off of Fast and the Furious Supercharged. Ride or die, whatever that means. And that was a crazy experience. But as I thought about it more, see, the bad guy is Owen Shaw from, I think, Fast and the Furious 5, maybe 6? No, I think it's like 6. Anyway, he's chasing the family down and stuff, so there's a lot of action with him. But I think the ride is so over the top and crazy because the movies are just so over the top and crazy. And I think that's what they were going for with the initial thought of it. Maybe because the action's so over the top and crazy, they wanted to almost make it like funny. And maybe that's the allure of the ride. But I think it missed its mark. But maybe you should come and try this. Like I always said, put it at the bottom of your list. Don't wait 65 minutes for this ride. If you can squeeze it in and there's not much time, maybe a 10-15 minute wait, definitely do it. Otherwise, just go check out the Fast and the Furious movies. They're a little more entertaining than the ride actually is. But I'm in the gift shop now, so let's look around at some of the cool things to see. And check it out, we got the Charger souped up on the tires from, I think this was like Fast and the Furious like 6, 7 when it dropped out of the plane. It had the souped up crazy tires right here. This car, through the history of the franchise, has went through so much, must have get rebuilt like every day of the week. And there's the car in action when it got launched out of the plane, that's right. And they had to put the tires on because they miraculously made the landing. So I think it's Fast and the Furious 7, maybe 6. There's so many Fast and the Furious movies, but they're all good though, I just love them. And I'll keep following the franchise. I mean, it's already went to space, so I don't know where else it could go. Maybe under the sea. Maybe they'll have some under the sea hijinks. But look at all the cars you can get from the movie. Okay, so here we are. Here's some of the cars that we actually saw in the queue line. Okay, so that WRX we saw in the front, that was Brian's WRX that was in the front. That makes more sense now. So we saw that. Of course, we got the 1970s Dodge Charger, the Toyota Supra that I believe Brian drove in the first movie. It's just a little off-colored.
Oh, this is the actually car to ride.
Yep. There's the RX-7. I wish they had the RX-7. I like that one. So one thing I felt was lacking is the fact that they don't have the Mitsubishi Eclipse from the first movie. That was like the first scene in the movie unveiled us to the world of Fast and the Furious. And I remember how excited I was and how much I wanted a Mitsubishi Eclipse when I saw Brian top out in the Eclipse when he was racing on the track. And then he sped so fast, he blew the piston rings off the car, and now the mad scientist got to take it apart and replace the engine block. Oh! And now we exit the attraction to the party zone. This is where the party continues, because that's what Fast and the Furious is all about. Live fast and go and partying. So many different things on this ride. What an interesting ride this was. Now, in no way is this a better replacement than Earthquake or Disaster. In fact, one would say that this was the real disaster after it took the place of disaster here at Fast and the Furious. But Disaster was a good ride. That's okay, Universal, you got a disaster. But there are rumors that this is going away sometime in the future, and maybe they'll correct that mistake. But it's very hard to do because the way they built this ride, it's such a unique soundstage and everything, it's kind of hard to fit something else in there. But I have heard it can fit the size of Radiator Springs inside this building. So imagine a Fast and the Furious attraction like Radiator Springs at Disneyland. That would be amazing.
So Fast and the Furious Supercharged, take a little note from the movie that you just can't jump in the rings because you think you can box.
Well, there it is, folks. Thanks for coming along with me on this 50th night of this thing that I'm doing. Had a great time seeing Fast and the Furious. Not my favorite attraction, but still a lot of nostalgia for the movies I think was had. And I even stopped for the parade and got a bunch of beads because tonight is the actual Mardi Gras night, so I might as well celebrate, and I think I did pretty well, I'm not gonna lie to you. Look at that, looks pretty good. But that's gonna do it for me. As always, until next time, probably here at Universal, because I'm still going. I'm JohnnyJans, and I'll catch you out there. Meandering around! But remember, just like Dom says, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. And it's not how you stand by your car, it's how you race your car.